Hi, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Liv.
And this is the Mach-E vlog. And this is a dual motor Polestar 3 that we're gonna check out for a few days. So let's go.
Woo! Welcome to our Polestar. I'm just gonna start saying that with all vehicles because then it'll feel like we could keep it forever. So the Polestar 3, we are so excited to have this in our hands, but you guys don't know that we actually spent a little bit of time with the Polestar 3 already. Last year, we were able to attend Polestar Day, which was amazing. It was a whole immersive day with Polestar where we got to see the 3, the 4, I can't remember what it was called, Patrick.
The 5 and the 6.
The 5 and the 6, but they had a different name for it. The whatever. But we also got to learn all about Polestar, their collaboration with the Luminar, the materials on the inside, and all sorts of good stuff. So we got to see this before. Unfortunately, because all the audio was damaged, we were never able to share any of these videos. But if you're interested, you can check out my article on agirlsguidetocars.com. You also missed out on this blooper as we were finishing up the video with our friend Miriam from Mobile Tech Podcast, and Jordan from Out of Spec snuck up on us. Whatever you try, enjoy the ride.
Bye.
Bye. When we first saw the Polestar 3 at Polestar Day, I have to be completely honest that I thought it looked really quite large. And I don't know if it's because we've gotten the Equinox since then, the Equinox EV since then, or what, but this feels like a really nice size now. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, I was expecting it to feel quite large. And when we saw it, it felt quite large, but being in it, and seeing it now firsthand, does it feel as big as I thought it did back then?
Yeah, okay, so you were under the same impression then. I feel like I'm sitting quite high up, which I love. Obviously, I have my seat all the way up, really, but there's also a ton of visibility, and I feel like I'm quite nicely above the road. The front dash is not taking up too much room, and part of that is also maybe with the Equinox having that huge dash that I'm now used to.
It's that time of year again.
It's time to win an EV.
Our nonprofit friends at the CCAN Action Fund are back at it again with their electric vehicle raffle, and it's better than ever.
Every ticket you buy gives you 3 chances to win an amazing EV. The grand prize winner gets to choose between a Rivian R1S, an R1T, a Porsche Macan EV, or a Taycan, a Lucid Air, or a Lucid Gravity.
Second place chooses between a Hyundai Ioniq 5 or a VW ID Buzz.
And the third place prize is a Chevy Equinox EV, which is still awesome, and we should know it because we have one.
Also, they'll be covering all taxes and fees involved.
Only 10,000 tickets will be sold for $200 each, and it all supports the CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for cleaner air and a healthier environment.
Check the description below for more details.
But I also really like that you can see little curves on either side, so you can see the hood.
I can. I'm down too low.
Oh, really?
There we go. Now I can
you see? It's just like a little horn, which is really nice, actually. Like, you have to let us know how you feel. Do you like being able to see the hood or not? In this case, it's like you can't see anything else, but you do see that little curve. I wonder if it's getting it in the video. Probably not.
I don't think so.
But that can always be helpful for judging the distance. Although, of course, when you get used to a vehicle, then you get used to the distance.
I think it does get a little bit.
A little bit of that bump, we could call it. So I am creepy. I like having creep on. So I have creep set, and I also have one pedal mode turned off. In contrast to Patrick, who is not creepy. And he doesn't like creep, and you do like one pedal.
Yeah, and that's other brands will call that like auto hold, but yeah, I don't like creeping
You don't like creeping? I love creeping. I love a little roll. Should let you know, by the way, if you don't know about me, I am Liv, hello. And I'm also a right leg amputee, so I'm driving with my left leg crossed over. This can be a challenging situation in a lot of cars because sometimes there's an encroachment from the center console, or it just kind of closes in the footwell. Whatever it is, this can be a challenging situation. I was not sure how the 3 was going to be because there's this big sort of console here, but there's actually a ton of room. There's a big gap in front of it. Hopefully you can see where my hand is, but there's actually, oh yeah.
We have other cameras.
We have other cameras. Patrick's gonna get it. So there's actually a lot of room. My knee is pressed up against this console right here now, but there's a lot of room in front of it. So if you're someone like me who has a special situation, or if you just like a little bit of leg room, there's a lot of bit of leg room in here, which is really, really great.
Yeah, and I'll film my side just because like you can see like there, it actually opens up quite a bit under there. And if you remember, way back when we first saw the Polestar 2, we did a test drive back when we were in Colorado during the pandemic.
Yeah.
If you remember that, we did the test drive. I drove it for a little bit, and then Liv was going to drive it, and she couldn't get into a usable seat position because the center console is so big. So this is vastly improved.
And now, granted, that was way back when. So we have this Polestar 3 for 5 days. Unfortunately, we don't have it for a weekend, which is super helpful when you work during the week. And it's been rainy here, if you can believe it, in SoCal. But we got a rare moment of no rain, so we ran out to film this. But the Polestar 2, we only had for an hour test drive. So for me, with my situation, it was a bit challenging, right, to get used to it in that short amount of time. So this has been great so far for me, and I was able to find a comfortable seating position instantly. By the way that you adjust the seating is really, really cool, especially if you have any dexterity problems in your fingers. This will be a shout out to whoever's got to edit this, but we'll throw some B-roll over this footage.
Sort of seeing it down there, yeah. So, on my side.
It's just a rounded square, and that means that if you have any difficulty with your fingers, arthritis, whatever it is, that you can just grab the square and kind of intuitively wiggle it around however you want.
It's like a joystick.
Like a joystick, yeah. You can joystick it around however you want. This is kind of a loud spot here, but you can get it in the perfect seating position. Now, by the way, we said that we were going to do this in every car, so we're going to do it now, is turn off our mic, what's the word?
Sound correction.
Sound isolation, yeah, whatever. And then this is what it sounds like with us talking as well. So the sound correction, for some reason I'm blanking on the right word, but like we do a lot of it so that you guys aren't subjected to all that road noise. But
noise reduction.
Noise reduction, yes, thank you. But I think this is a really nice cabin. Like it's not a complete cabin cone of silence, but it's just fine, isn't it?
By the way, because we were talking about the seat, it took me forever to figure this out, but you push the middle, and then when you push the middle of that button, your massage functions come up. So I was looking in the screen forever trying to figure out where the massage function was, and it's actually you just tap that and then it comes up on the screen, which is it works, but it was sort of like, that's not very intuitive. Like I'm going to tap a button here and then I got to look on the screen.
I was trying to read up on it. I think there might be a way to activate it without doing that, but
Maybe.
We haven't figured it out. So one thing I do wish that there was in here is that I could adjust the pedal field, because it is powerful and it is responsive. So me personally, right now I'm in standard steering, and can we go back to that screen, Patrick? Let's actually see.
If I can find it.
It's the car icon on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And then drive, there you go. So we're in range setting, we're in standard steering and standard suspension feel. And I love being able to customize those things, but I also wish that I could customize the pedal feel, because I'd like a little bit of softness. Maybe I would go for a lighter accelerator, And brake, maybe? No, the brake is good. I would just soften the accelerator. And especially for me, with the way that I drive cross-legged, it's really nice to have the ability to do that. Other than that, you can really adjust quite a lot. And this even has an air suspension, so we can go into like a hill mode, which should we do that at some point?
I don't know if it'll make much difference. I mean, it'll raise and lower, but I don't think it does a ton. But maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Now, I think I want to hear what Patrick has to say while he drives, but I will just add one extra thing about me. So I have also damage to my left hand. So I have dexterity problems with that. Hey, look at you. Added already. So I can't use anything other really than my pointer finger, index, brain fart, and my thumb. So this indicates, interestingly, should I do it quickly and confuse people?
Yeah, just confuse people.
So that was actually quite hard.
Turn it back off, yeah.
Oh, and so it doesn't really like click in, I think it's supposed to be like a smart. So you push it down, yeah. Yeah, it's a very gentle indication, and it. Well, I guess I could use it in a sec. It just doesn't click in like all vehicles. So if you like that, you just sort of like suggest that it indicate. It's kind of more like a suggestion feeling. You just tap it gently. But I find it a little disconcerting. I think for me, because I have dexterity difficulties, I like to be able to just go click and to feel it engage into the indicator. Another interesting thing about the steering wheel is that the buttons have no icons.
No labels.
No labels. So if you gently rest your finger on it, and we'll have Patrick too there, I wasn't even looking, then it'll say on the screen what it is. It'll give you the icon, which is actually kind of interesting because I guess you don't have to look as far down as the steering wheel. You're just looking at the instrument cluster in front of you, which, by the way, is customizable, and I absolutely love it. But I think right now, are you ready to drive, Patrick?
Yeah, sure. Always.
Right. Yeah, let's switch.
Okay, my turn to drive. And lucky me, we're going to try to do a little bit of the performance-spirited driving. And the acceleration, of course, as you would expect, feels pretty good. As much horsepower and torque as it has, it's not as quick as I would have guessed. I think 0 to 60 is in about 4.5 seconds. But it's still, for a car this size, I'm pretty happy with it. We're going to not go far on the freeway, because freeway driving, as long as the suspension feels good, you're okay. And the suspension on this car so far feels great.
And you switched you switched everything to performance.
I switched everything to performance.
And I was in range and comfort kind of vibe. So this is performance suspension. It actually feels really good.
And then, since we're here on the freeway though, just basically turned on the driver's assistance features. I'm increasing the miles per hour, and it's doing the same thing again. You have to get your phone ready. I forget for some of this stuff, but I'm increasing like the miles per hour for the set speed limit. Basically just using these buttons, and like Liv was saying, like they don't show up until we actually sort of touch it. So anyways, it's doing a great job. It has been doing a great job. Performs fairly well. It is a hands-on system. I want to tap the brake because we're going to go ahead and get off here, this next one. And actually I'm going to hit the map so I can see where I'm going. Whoa, I got to pay attention too. Oh no, we're going to go one more down. We're going to go all the way down a little bit further.
And I propose we have a moment of silence to get the highway sound.
Yeah, let me get the normal lane. And I'll do 70 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. Whoops. There we go. Now I turned it on. We're doing 70 miles an hour, and now let's see how the sound is.
And I'm going to interrupt that moment by saying it's a monkey's wedding right now.
It's sunny and raining.
Sunny and raining. You'll have to let us know if you too say monkey's wedding, because I don't think you did, right?
No, I don't. Yeah. So anyways, as much, because these are the performance tires, 22-inch wheels, as much rubber as oh yeah, they told me because I took my hands off the steering wheel. I'm used to Blue Cruise, so I took my hands off. But it's like, no, put your hands back on. But as much rubber is hitting the ground on this type of pavement, I thought it was pretty quiet in here. I'm like, suspension is good, sound quieting, noise reduction is good, dampening. we're just having all sorts of. This is what happens when we have to film after working our full day jobs. We again much prefer filming at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, at the end of the week. But anyways, yeah. So freeway driving is great. Keeping my hands on. It's handling the steering, doing a great job. We're not anything, super curvy or anything like that, but it's doing a, fine practical job of steering, which I think most of these systems do fairly well. It would be nice to test it like in traffic and see like well does it handle somebody slowing down and coming to a complete stop, because that's where I think they're all a little bit iffy, because like sometimes you can see everybody slowing down way ahead and you start slowing down, not like hitting the brakes, but the car is like, I'm doing 70 until I have to brake, and that can be unnerving. And a lot of these systems, whatever the brand, but
it is, because you just watch yourself like pelting towards like what is definitely a slowdown.
So it's slowed us down, this van ahead of us. We're going to go ahead and take this next exit here, so I won't go around. But this will give us hopefully a little chance. We're getting, towards rush hour, so there may not be an opportunity to have like a fun day of driving, but it's still just sort of like what I think most of us will experience. And if I can, I'm just going to like zip around. Yeah, it has good pick up and go at speed, so that's really nice. And I drove it for a little bit with the like soft steering and the soft suspension, and it feels very nice and premium. With this sport suspension, all of a sudden it takes on like a different attitude with the car. And I think somebody said that like with all the different settings that you can do with econo mode and performance mode and the different steering and suspension and all of that, like there's like 36 different combos, which seems like a lot. Like I'm like, how do you do that? But that was just a forum thing I just saw, just as if you saw me on my phone as we were getting started, that's what I was doing. But again, yeah, the acceleration is good for something this size. It feels pretty nimble, like moving through here. I don't want to catch up to those cars too quick, so I'll just go a little bit slow. Overall, though, again, one of the things I look for is like, how would this be on a very long journey, but also how would it be on a road like this? The seats are very comfortable and holding me in. There's enough side bolstering. It's not like a performance car, but it's performance-ish. So like decent side bolstering. Actually, it's quite a bit of side bolstering.
It is quite
Yeah, what it's missing is like it doesn't have the big shoulder things like the Mach-E has, which is actually nice, because like if I need to reach into the back, I don't have this shoulder brace like jabbing into me.
I think the seats are great, and if you wonder like firmness wise, they're quite firm actually, which I like. Don't you think they're quite firm? Yeah. I like it. If you're a cushy seat person, well, I guess it's easier to add cushion if you like a really cushy seat. This is definitely firm from the get-go. The massaging seats are a huge plus.
Oh yeah,
really, really fun. I know, it's like, why
am I not doing massaging?
What happens if we both do it? Oh, cool,
we can massage. And I'm just going to do wave, and we'll just hit start.
I'm going speed, and then, lower.
Sort of weird to do a massage while we're on a like little 2-lane road trying to go fast, but we're going to have this guy in front of us, so it's not like I'm going to really do much of anything. And by the way, the massage runs for like 20 minutes, so.
It's nice.
Good enough for getting you that relaxing drive on the way home.
Yeah, and it's not enough to be like you're going to masseuse, like most of them. I think all of them really, but it's enough to just feel like a little bit of pampering, which is cool, and not always something that you get from your vehicle. So that's a bonus. I
really like that the front seats are heated and ventilated, and the rear seats are heated. So that's a nice comfort thing that would make those long journeys really nice. I think this would be great on like a long road trip. whether it's on a 2-lane road like this or on the interstate. Either way, I think would be really comfortable. This display and everything really does remind me of the Mach-E with the vertical screen and this driver screen here.
The same.
But it is a nice big improvement. One, to have the map available here. I like having the map here so that, if we want to have whatever on display over there, music or whatever, we can do that. But I have the map here, so if I'm doing navigation, I can do that. The other thing I think is really cool, I love this screen here, the range and trip info. So it's sort of showing me like my dynamic range, which I'm in performance mode, so it adjusted it down. And then over here, the instant consumption, it's constantly calculating. So if I let off, you can see that it goes in the negatives. So that's really cool to see. It is, pretty far over here, but it looks really cool to watch as we're, driving here. And of course, it's showing me like what's affecting my consumption right now: speed, driving style, climate. So pretty cool. And then of course you can do the history and see like how's it been going over the past up to 100 miles, it looks like, or auto, but you can go up to 100 miles in the history.
See how all the previous people have
Yeah, exactly.
All kind of the same, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, one person really used the climate a lot. Must have been a cold day.
Cold day, or probably a cold day, yeah. I think maybe the other day when they dropped it off. The heads-up display, I haven't done it with navigation on yet. I should probably do that.
Yeah.
But one of the things that, and we can never really show these on video because they like flicker in any type of screen that we use or video that we do. But it shows my speed, it shows the speed limit, but a couple of times it like flashed up like do not pass, like as we were transitioning from the the zone where I could pass to the double yellow lines, it came up and said do not pass, which I thought was a neat little addition of like, hey, just make sure you're not flying around somebody.
So literally before we entered the street?
Just as it went to the double yellow lines. That's just really as we got on it. Yeah, I thought it was really neat. I was going to mention it, but I'm like, we can't get that on camera, but it is neat to see.
And I really like the heads-up display. I don't know how, but all of them seem just a little bit different, and this one is quite subtle. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, I don't know if it's the height or...
Well, the Mercedes, I think, was the one that had, like, it had so much information, and, part of it was using it in the nav mode, and it had, like, a virtual augmented reality display. So... This one is just
the nav mode in the Mercedes.
Very simple.
This is very simple. And it doesn't get in the way of your vision or anything. There's like sort of a fine line, and this works it well.
I do want to just keep watching that, which I should not do on a curvy road.
No.
And unfortunately, like this guy's going way under like the speed limit or at times. So it's not a fun drive like I was sort of hoping, but I think that's the reality for most of us is that we are, we buy these performance cars and we end up getting stuck behind somebody that's doing below the speed limit. So it makes me just want to go like, you know what, let's just go back to comfort mode. This is something else. It is a very touchscreen heavy car.
Yeah.
So if you want that, it's close to like Tesla levels of like, you got to touch the screen for everything. So we're going to go back to range mode.
And how much did our range change?
It did not change. I was curious. Like I think it will at some point, but we'll go with standard.
Oh, we just gained 10 miles.
We gained 10 miles.
Yeah.
And that's something else that I think is interesting. It beeped at me. Why is that? Is that because that guy was stopping? The range is always in 10-mile increments. So, like, I'm sort of torn on that because, like, I think what they're trying to get you used to is that, like, it's not this precise.
It's all an estimate.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know, if you're new to EVs and EV driving, your range is constantly an estimate based on how you drive. So the harder you drive, the more you deplete your range, the faster you go, things like that. Sometimes people worry like, what if I get stuck in traffic in an EV? It's actually better for your range. So your range will go up then.
Yeah.
So it's
Or it won't go
interesting.
down as much
It
as
won't
if you
go
were
down.
doing
Yeah.
80 miles an hour.
Your efficiency will go up.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, but I think I would prefer to have all the numbers, because why not? Their number is available to you. Why not?
Yeah. No, it's almost like this is like a training mode.
Yeah.
By the way, it says 78% battery and 200 miles. It was 78% and 190. But yeah, to me, it's like I'd rather have that exact number always and watch it adjust as conditions change. Let us know, what do you like? And then there's like a lot of Tesla owners, they always sort of go back and forth between do you want to do percentage or miles of range? This is showing both, which I think is the right answer.
And I'm like, now that you're stopped, I'm gonna try and capture that. So you can see 78% and 200 miles of range. And if you were to switch to performance, then it would go to 190.
Probably 190, yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this gorgeous 3, Polestar's first SUV. Yay, yay, because so many people love SUVs. SUVs are so popular on the American market. These guys have actually been out in Europe for a little bit, so yay for them to come to us here. What you see is Thunder. So Polestar only has 6 colors, and they're all kind of neutral. They're gray, they go all the way from white to black, I believe. There's a midnight blue that actually looks really cool, but we have Thunder right here that's sort of like a blue tinted gray that looks really gorgeous. And a lot of Polestar's design is performance intent, is functional. It looks really gorgeous, but I think these are 22-inch wheels.
They are.
We're looking at right now. But my hand is resting on something really cool here. So like I said, a lot of Polestar's design is very intentional and functional. And no, my fingers aren't just disappearing into the hood. This is intended for aerodynamics. You literally have airflow that goes all the way up here, all the way to the rear. And something really cool about Polestar is they're proud of what they do and they're proud of what they engineer. And this is Polestar engineered.
And you'll see like there's some like little lines here. It's very, very hard to see on this camera, but that's sort of identifying where some of the sensors are on the car.
And this, I can't remember what it was called, the Smart Bar or something?
Yeah, something like that. We don't need to get too technical.
This looks unassuming. I hope you guys can see it from that angle. We're trying to hide from the sun there. Is that a good angle, Patrick?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool. So hopefully you can see this bar, but like this actually has a ton of sensors and cool stuff, a camera, all that, but it looks really unassuming. So you have the cool black grille here and everything. And this feature, like I said, carries the air all the way over the car and to the rear, where there's another, Patrick swooping all the way over there. There's another air pocket over there that helps with the aerodynamics, helps keep the vehicle slipping through the stream of air, because Polestar is about performance.
And I believe the drag coefficient of this is like 0.29, so fairly low for a vehicle this size.
For a chunky SUV.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since we're back here, let's take a look at the rear tail lights. Something really cool about these is that these are adaptive for the lighting conditions. So rear tail lights will be brighter or darker depending on the conditions. Looks really, really awesome when we have all this thunder all over. I'm gotta check all the names, but they must be all natural. There's thunder, midnight,
Magnesium.
Yeah, so we have this swoop here. Now, this looks like kind of a small window, but we'll be showing you on the inside, so don't worry.
Yeah, so far, spoiler alert, the view from the driver's seat out the rear window isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I thought the low roof line back there would cut it off significantly, but it isn't that bad.
Yeah, not at all.
So
we have a CCS port.
go ahead and just pop it open because it
Might as well, yeah. There you go. And like I said about Polestar, function, performance, aerodynamics, the handles are aerodynamic. I want to try something quickly because we're back here. There's a kick to open. Did I do it?
It may be, it has to detect the key, of course.
And I've got that in my pocket. I was hoping to be totally, well.
Maybe it has to be a real foot.
Let's go to the front.
Okay, but I do want to point this out too. Like this scoop here, I thought was like, oh, there's like another scoop that goes through somewhere, but it does not. So.
It's just aesthetics. Sometimes it's okay to do things just because they look cool.
Well, it might help the arrow here, you know, but yeah, it's just not as functional as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. As we said before, like Polestar loves to show off everything that they have going on. 111 kilowatt hour.
And 380 kilowatts is the dual motor setup that we have here.
Which is awesome that they put that all there.
The
Thor's
headlights.
hammer headlights.
Yeah.
What do you think of them? I really like them.
I mean, that's sort of a signature element that they, you know, sort of comes over from Volvo to the Polestar line, and I really like it. It's not as fancy as the Volvo EX90 that has the ones that like open up for you, like real eyes, but it looks really nice. And, you know, basically, like, I love that it's sort of like not only here, but it's like echoed in their logo as well.
Ooh,
just something that, you know, Polestar, you know, there are a lot of things that people like and dislike. One of the things that I think a lot of people like is their styling. And, you know, it is an SUV, but like looking over here from the side profile, you know, it isn't as boxy as you would expect something like maybe from Volvo. And a part of that is that design in the back. I think it really helps the way that they've swooped it down. But, you know, from our first looks inside, I believe that there's still quite a bit of cargo space back there. They don't cut the roof off too much like some crossover SUVs do.
Yeah, there's a ton of room. And if you guys are familiar with us, and you might know, we have a Mach-E. We also have an Equinox EV. And this is 2 inches longer than the Equinox EV, which, what do you think? Does it feel like it?
No, it seems like it's bigger than that.
It kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, and we were just talking about the Prologue, which is a little bit bigger, feels huge driving it. This does not feel that big driving it. And we'll preface that with we've only driven it like 2 miles, so we got to like play around with it some more this week.
No, but I am standing in front of the vehicle, and the reason I paused for a moment a few moments ago is because I want to show you the frunk. So automatically I was like, ooh, how do I open it? Let's open the frunk and show it to you. Hey Patrick, show us how to open the car.
So when we got the car dropped off, I stood here and was like, why is it opening? Like very confused, but you literally got to like tap it there and then it'll open. Again, this is new, so like maybe we have to check out, maybe the phone has a key or the key fob works better, but with the key card, you literally like sort of have to touch it right there.
And we have to say that the door handle, there is an indentation on the right side, but you press it on the left side. And then you pull twice to open the front.
Just like normal
Just like normal.
Which is interesting. And now I got to see where this part is. So pause for a second while I figure it out. Wow. That was sort of a couple of things about opening that. First of all, it was not a comfortable position to put my fingers through there, but then it actually has a bright yellow lever that if I would have looked under there, I might have been able to see to find that. But let's see. Oh, okay. It's small-ish, but it does have a level 2 charger, and I'm guessing this is the air inflator kit. And it looks like there's a tow hook on this side. Take a look over here. And yep, little tire inflator. I'm not sure. That might be like a module for if it's, yeah, the tire sealant. So if you have a small leak, this will be enough to get you like down the road to an auto repair shop. If you have a bigger leak, you're just gonna have to call for support because there is no spare tire, which is getting more and more common these days. Of course, the only other maintenance, of course, the windshield wiper fluid. And I'm looking over here. It looks like this is a lock, unlock. And I'm curious what's underneath here. I can't open it, so let's skip that. Yeah, I was looking to see where the battery terminal would be because if you do have an EV, you still have a 12-volt battery somewhere, which I would assume is under here somewhere, but there's no indications of where it's actually at. But anyways, hopefully you don't have to worry about that often.
But it is a useful thing to know with your particular vehicle. where your 12 volt is and how to access it.
I'm wondering if it's underneath there, but anyways, let's try, see how this is to close. Good job. All right. The other thing that I was on the Polestar 2 that's also on the Polestar 3, and I've only seen the 4 like one day, so I'm not sure if they have it, but this like frameless mirror, it's just a really nice added touch. It makes it look like the mirror is very expansive, but you know, it isn't taking up a whole amount of space on the car.
And these are also heated and folding mirrors, which is really cool.
And we don't necessarily want to do too much inside, but I guess now's a good time to, oops, I messed it up. There we go. We opened it up and let's check out how much space there is back here.
So there is a pass-through, a little pass-through all the way to the seats, and then a cover as well for hiding your private stuff that I did not get the right angle. There we go.
Yeah, I actually like how this cover works.
Yeah.
We'll just say like in the Equinox, it has a cover that we bought aftermarket, but it leaves like a big gap the way that they've positioned the notches for it. But this, it looks like it'll be completely sealed.
And it's not the cover that leaves the gap. And the Equinox, it's the notches.
Yeah, the notches, like there's no other way around it.
So the fact that these notches, if you can see, it comes down so that it tilts downwards. That's a really cool intentional design.
The other thing I like about the storage space here is there's like a little bit of a strap here in case you want to like put something there to hold it. There's a couple of tie down points if you want to do that. There's also, of course, a little 12 volt outlet here, another hook here. And then as a bonus, like this floor is a pro and there's a pro and a con. So I like that it's like very easy. And I believe you can even put it this way.
And those are shopping bag hooks, by the way, which I love.
Yeah, see, that's, so like a really nice design here to have like shopping bag hooks so that you can put your shopping there without it like sliding and emptying all your apples into this huge, expansive area down here. So like, I think that's a pretty decent sized area.
It just keeps going.
Yeah, which is really great. Now, the downside is like, if I want to use this storage, like this thing is in the way. Like if I wanted to say like I needed to use maximum storage, I don't think this comes out. Yeah, it's sort of like permanently mounted. So you can't just sort of remove the subfloor completely.
Well, depends on how hard you pull, I guess.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of ingenious design, but I would love to be able to completely pull it out. But I really like that. I think for 99% of the time, I would love the functionality of this. And most of the time I could just throw stuff back here, like if I had luggage or suitcase. But if I wanted to put some stuff underneath it, I can just lift it up.
That's a stick your laptop there thing.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the thief that's going to break into your car doesn't know that EVs have a secret storage compartment.
Yeah.
Don't tell them.
And then wait, there's also a little space on the left over here with a basket.
And then lighting, there's lighting on each side. There's one LED there and one there. Not the brightest. That's one of the things that we find with most of these in the cargo area. There's not a ton of lighting.
And what's that button?
Button? Oh, that's for you can set the height.
Oh, that's cool that it's there. The height of the door.
Yeah, it's cool that it's there.
No, it's not cool because then your head's under it while you're setting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you gonna get bunked? Do it on camera.
No, it's not actually doing it. So I think it's like if we want to adjust it down. But anyways, we're just gonna close. And there's an adjustment button there as well.
Now, I have to say, by the way, since we were talking about the low height, and you can see Patrick standing here, like how kind of short it looks, but this actually is quite a tall vehicle. It's like over 8 inches ground clearance, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. By the way, rear windshield wiper, which is nice to have. Something else that I noticed here is like you'll see up here, there's the defroster. The electric defroster is on this window, but this one here that is basically sort of an extension of the roof, there's actually a wire there too, or embedded wire. So it's not as closely gapped as this, so I'm not sure how well that would work, but it's also just really interesting that they continue it up there even though you wouldn't actually be looking out through that window. Very, very interesting that they added that.
Point.
So let's close this up and we'll explore a little bit more.
You know what? Let's just hop into the back seat, because this is something we sometimes forget to do, is hop in and see how spacious it is back here. I am
and how easy it is to get in. Here's something before you take over. So this roof line is sort of neat, because some of these that have the swooping roof line, they start, and I'll say like the Mach-E, it starts curving like right there, and it can be hard for like my father-in-law to get in the back of the Mach-E, but there's plenty of room to get in and out. So win-win.
Yes.
Win.
Win-win-win. However, did you notice that I grabbed over there?
Yeah.
There's no grab handle on the inside anywhere. So that's stuff that I love about ergonomic design and industrial design, is that we should take into account how people use things, right? And sometimes we don't even know how we're using something. I don't necessarily think about the fact that I just grabbed the vehicle to get in, except that we're sharing this with you guys. So I think that's kind of indicative, and it makes me think about the whole experience of getting in here. So for me, there's actually like, it's a little hard to get my leg in and out. I miss the fact that there's no grab handle here. There is a good lip there though. So if you like grab it on top of the vehicle, but if it's icy, dusty, wet or whatever, you're not gonna wanna do that. So there's that. Now, if
why don't you
guys
scooch on the other side, and that way I can sort of see more.
And now just wait 1 second, because I don't know if you can see the leg room here, but this seat is set to me. I'm 5'5", but I think I'm 6'4". So that's how I like to sit, is as though I'm really giant. So that is pushed all the way back. This driver's seat is set for Patrick, so he's 5'6". There's a ton of leg room. There is an absolute ton of leg room. It's really, really comfy in here. It's not quite as bolstered as the front seats, which are, I'll just spoiler, very bolstered.
By the way, I don't know if you notice, just jumping in quickly, but there are heated rear seats.
I'm going to point that out.
Okay, fine. But I thought that was just really cool.
It is cool, as well as what?
Something that we don't always have.
Yeah, as well as what?
Just basically you can do some climate control, so you can set your own temperature in the back as well as control the vents. And I'll just go ahead and say, I'm just going to take over USB-C in the back. 2 of them.
Indeed. Patrick took over. Now you know, which is really, really cool. So your passengers are going to feel really comfy back here. I don't actually know if this is adjustable at all. It doesn't feel like it is, but there's some things that are really cool, and then there's some things that are interesting. So Polestar does this kind of expandy thing, and for me personally, because I have limited dexterity in my left hand, that can be a little challenging. Right hand, not so bad, but you'll have to let us know what you think of this. It looks seamless and smooth, and as though it's just kind of a carved portion of the seat. So that's cool, the aesthetics of it. What are you doing, Patrick?
Sorry, there's birds coming to visit us. Sorry. I was like, what are you walking over here for?
They know that we have a bird feeder. Spoiler alert, this really cool company, Birdfy, gave us a bird feeder with AI recognition and 2 cameras to play with. It's awesome, and I'm obsessed.
We'll put a link.
We'll put a link, and maybe we'll throw a clip over this. We've just been playing with it, and I've named 3 of the birds so far. I check it all the time, so I think these birds know that we have a bird thing at home. The cameras can be powered by the included solar panel, or you can recharge them if you want. It took about a week or so for the birds to actually find it, but once they did, it was mobbed. They loved it. The app is really cool, and you can get alerts on all the different kinds of birds that are visiting. And it has multiple different camera angles, and you can also zoom in and get close-ups. A feature that I really, really liked actually was that this sort of acts as a security camera, so you can get interesting little things like this. This is not an ad. They have not paid us anything. They just gave us the bird feeder, and we really like it, so we wanted to share. So why don't we just turn here, because it's easy peasy. Like we said, Polestar is awesome about labeling everything. They're proud of what they do, and they're very intentional with what they use, what materials they use. So this is 100% trace leather, animal welfare secured. So it's leather, but you know that it was actually obtained in a way that maybe doesn't make you feel so bad when you're sitting on it. These gold straps here are, of course, Polestar's performance line, the indicator of their performance. Patrick loves them. What do you think of them? I
worry about the durability of the color over a long period of time, but I just sort of love the gold accent that matches the brake calipers out here, but I just think it looks so cool. And it's sort of like a very easy way to identify that you're in a performance version of the Polestar.
That's very true. It's loud, it's proud, it's kind of in standing with the way
It's
that
actually
they...
quiet.
Well, it's, no, it...
Sorry.
But you know that they're proud of everything that's in this vehicle, including the power. So ergonomically, I was talking about ergonomics, right? So there are a couple things that I do want to point out here. We're going to make Patrick lean all the way over. This is present in the front and in the back. So I'm going to point it out here. The door is really easy to open. I'll just do it. It's one finger pull. I love things that are a single finger, that you can use one finger, or if you have limited dexterity, if you're missing digits, whatever. So something like that is really awesome. And also...
And little hands can do that easy.
And little hands can do that. And also the way to close the door is simple. It's carved out into the arm here. It's smooth. It's like a plush, firm neoprene sort of feeling. It's meant to be touched. It's very intentional, and that's really, really cool. Features that I like, features that are present on the front, so let's hop in the front.
I am going to say one other thing about the handles to get out. It was confusing the first time for me and Liv, because it's sort of like I pulled up on the window controls versus the door. So it took me just a second. So if you have new passengers, they may be confused for a second, but if you own the car, you'll get used to it very quickly.
And we do have to point out, since you mentioned the window controls, that there are only two controls there. So those are the controls for the front, and then you switch to control the rear.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, there it goes. I was like, it's not looking like it's switching. It did switch. It's a push button. We'll have to get some B-roll and put over to show how to do that. But we won't spend too much time talking about like how it feels driving and all of that, because we haven't had it long, but we'll do some driving footage, or we already did. Maybe we'll shuffle the video around. But
wouldn't it be nice if we didn't say that stuff so you know how crazy we are?
I know. We have like rain coming in this week, so we're like trying to film what we can.
Yeah.
And shuffling things around. So this video may be out of order. But what I can tell you is it's an Android Automotive system. It does have Apple CarPlay capability, so even though it's Android Automotive, you can have Apple CarPlay. There is no Android Auto unless I'm missing the way to set it up. It's different than some other vehicles that have Android Automotive plus Android Auto plus Apple CarPlay.
And I think Apple CarPlay was not present initially, and this
Right.
came via an OTA update, which is awesome because this is a new car. So it's already gotten like a really big update that a lot of people want, which is what we want to see. You want to know that your car is going to get better as you have it over the lifetime, which is awesome. It already has.
And the layout reminds me of the Mach-E because it has a vertical iPad like screen here, as well as like a small display here. So there are some similarities. If we go into maps, review privacy policy, I think I can just get rid of this. If you go into maps, whoa, why is it going into Bluetooth? If you go into maps, you can see it's like fairly responsive. Really nice so far, and you know, like I said, we won't get into it too much. We'll do some more filming after we've had some time in here, but just overall, like very quickly hopping in, this very dark interior I think is really refreshing. Even though it is so dark, a lot of people are sort of going away from that. I think their lighter interiors look really nice, but there's some like wood grain that's in the dash. Gives it a premium feel for sure. There's a lot of piano black up here in the center console, but there is the volume knob and the play pause button, which I really like that. Of course, coming from a Mach-E that has one on the screen, it's almost the same thing and very familiar with me. Has some of those like Polestar design touches, like a little speaker up here that's almost looks like a 1940s aircraft prop or something like that. So very interesting design up front, but it has that like Swedish influence that you can very much feel. I like the steering wheel so far. It has like the notch here that sort of like that's your center point for the top of the steering wheel. It's a little bit of a flat bottom, but it has some nice notches here to sort of like hold on to if you're doing a little bit of twisty roads that aren't too crazy.
And And we can talk about some of that stuff while we're driving even.
Yeah, I think we'll save most of that. I just really want to talk about the materials. It is a really dark interior. A lot of times there's like a dark or black interior and it's not really that dark, or, this one really feels like black with the exception of the gold seat belts.
And also there's a sort of a brushed aluminum trim that looks really beautiful. Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's sort of a muted chrome. So by the way,
muted chrome, that's more accurate.
It is, because it is kind of shiny, and I can sort of show it in the headrest right here. And by the way, this is a Bowers and Wilkins headrest. And this exact model has the upgraded packages. So it has the headrest speaker as well. It has the Plus Performance and Premium package, I believe, as Patrick inspects everything.
We're just inspect stuff, as you get to see.
Now there's something that I want to see, because I played around with this for a little bit. How easy do you find it to open that, Patrick? Open? Fine. Now
relatively easy, but it doesn't feel like...
Is it harder to close?
It's harder to close, especially like trying to get it from this initial start point, because you got to like wedge your finger in there. Yeah. And it doesn't feel premium at all. Like there's a lot of things that feel very premium. This isn't one of those. And to be honest, most of the time I would just keep it open. I would never close it. But yeah, that's really awkward.
I mean, you might close it if, say, you leave something in there that you want to hide or whatever. But I don't know about you, but when I opened it, I expected that it would have a press to close. You know what I mean? Which, of course, is quite a premium feature. But then again, this feels like quite a premium car. So I'd kind of expect a press to close.
Oh, 100%. I believe as this one's spec'd, it's more top of the line, dual motor, sport package, plus package. I believe it's around 94,000. So this is more top of the line. Polestar's a premium line. So sort of that's the only thing. Everything else feels just excellent. I love some of these little the ash. Yeah. I would get rid of the piano black if I could. But again, it just looks really great with it being, sometimes like I said, you get the dark interior and it's like, the seats are dark, but the dash is sort of grayish, and this is just black. So really nice. Of course, big, we can't talk about this while we're driving too much, but the big, nice glass roof will attach our GoPro on there, or actually DJI now on there when we're driving for that footage. But yeah, let's wrap up the boring talk about the inside. We'll add some more in the driving footage.
You thought you were free, but psych, you're not. Just kidding. It's just going to be a few seconds. I have some things to add. Firstly, very cool that you can adjust the seat. We hear from a lot of you guys who have longer legs, you're taller, whatever, that you really want a little bit more thigh support. So it's super cool that you can adjust the seat like that. I'm kind of short, so I push it all the way back. I love that there are vents all the way across.
Is it really all the way across?
It really is all the way across. No, part of that's aesthetic.
No,
it's somewhere in the middle. But like, it feels like you're getting airflow all the way through. It's like the look of it. I don't know, if you ever get in the vehicles that have really small vents, you just feel like it, even if it's just visually. So you just feel like you're not getting enough air.
And you can see, if you move this, you'll see that it's actually not a ton of it.
It's small, but it looks cool. And then there's this one too. I really like that. I love the textiles, and you're totally right. Love the black interior, partially because I have colorful hair that I totally worry about the gold seatbelt, to be honest. But it looks so good, so plush, so premium. Now, I do want to point out a couple other things down here. We do have 2 USB-C cables. It's really cool that they're on either side, quite spread out. Outlets, thank you. So this one's for me, that one's for you, or whoever's sitting here, and it's very clear. Like, sometimes they close together. This totally makes sense. And then another one of those weird pulley outy things. And this one I just don't get. Like, the ones in the rear seats you could put a book in. I'm not sure what you're putting here. Is it your wallet?
Maybe your wallet.
Maybe your wallet.
It's a weird compartment.
It's so weird. Let us know what you think of this. What would you put here? What would you put here? I want to know.
Maybe
like, what goes
registration.
License and registration?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not license.
So, not license. We're not going to continue that much longer, but maybe you do put your insurance stuff and whatever there, because it's a little harder to get into the glove box because there's nothing here. You got to tap the screen. I guess that wasn't that hard, but so be it.
I love the styling of it, you know, which we talked about while we were walking around. I really like the styling with the scoops in the front of the aerodynamic pass-throughs, the front and the rear. Driving just feels like really nice and comfortable, especially now that I'm back in like standard mode. Performance-wise, it feels, it has a lot of horsepower, a lot of torque. Isn't as quick as like the Mach-E. It's about a second faster or whatever. But really, this is pretty awesome. And the suspension tuning is just really good, especially because it you can adjust it, and including the ride height, which we haven't done, even though you mentioned we might try it.
So those are your feelings about it.
Yeah.
I really, really like this. I kind of actually love it, to be honest. Like, I really like driving this, and I didn't think that I would. I tend to, with the way that I drive with my left leg crossover, I tend to not necessarily be drawn towards performance vehicles, but this is everything. It's comfortable, it's responsive, it's got a lot of customization, and it's just really enjoyable to drive. It's a great SUV body style, so you're further up, you're 8.3 inches or 8.1 inches, I can't recall the exact view.
Yeah, I forget the.
But you're higher.
You said this at the beginning, right?
Yeah, we might have, for all we know. You're higher up, and that's a really nice position to be in. So you have a lot of visibility. There's not that much visibility in the rear view because of the rear seats.
Better than I expect. Oh yeah,
yeah,
well,
because of the rear seats. But obviously the size of the mirror of the window affects it, but it's not bad. And the rest of the vehicle, you have a good chunk of visibility. The A-pillar is a little bit large, which I can show you, perhaps because you have the speakers in there, but it's not bad at all. And it's just a really nice feeling vehicle to drive. And here is something I was going to say earlier, this is where the performance comes in. I like the responsiveness and the performance aspect for driving it around town. So that doesn't mean I'm going to go rip around a winding hill or go drive it really hard. And performance doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to drive it really hard, because a lot of our driving is like this. Here in town, there's a slow person in front of you. Even when we were in Colorado, there was always a slow person in front of us in the mountains. So a lot of it really is, how well does it perform in your daily life, getting you on the highway, getting you overtaking a person from 60 to 80 miles an hour, whatever. And I think that this is kind of great. The only thing that I wish is that it was a little less screen dependent. It is screen dependent. It really bugs me when a vehicle makes you open the glove box with a button on the screen.
And we were talking about the volume knob.
It only does volume.
It only does volume. It'd be nice to have, because to adjust the fan, it's like 3 or 4 touches because we needed to get it in quiet mode so that we could film, and it's like 3 or 4 touches to do that.
And if you don't know, the Mach-E dial is embedded in the screen, and it can control the volume as well as the airspeed. So that's a cool thing.
And temperature and
temperature, yeah.
Seat warmer, it's multi-function, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is multi-function, and that was an update. It was singular function initially, right?
Yep, for a long time.
This one, it has a play and pause button on it, which makes it seem like they're probably not anticipating updating that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of glare, so I'm not sure. There we go. I can sort of show you guys. But that would be a cool update. So I really, really like this. I would even say I love driving this. That was super pleasant. I wish we could keep it for longer.
Yeah, no, this is definitely, and for the price, I think this is where it always gets a little bit difficult, is for the price with the performance pack and everything on this one, I think it's around $94,000, which is a lot of money. But, just when I was Googling to get information about Polestar 3, I started getting ads and stuff. And it's there's about $20,000 off on these right now with various incentives. I think some of them you have to have a Tesla to get it, those type of things. But up to $20,000 off. Now you're getting $74,000. You're getting into like the Lexus RZ450e range. It's a bit more than that still, but
so pick this over.
This is way better
than
the Lexus RZ450e, in my opinion.
In my opinion too. And how much is it with the performance pack?
We said all those stats at the beginning.
Yeah. we'll put the numbers up for you guys, but this one has plus, performance, premium, I think, I can't recall the names, all the P's. So it has all the extra packs. I would like this just as is.
And now body, you just went sideways because the GoPro, yeah.
And we could just pull over down here, or we'll go to the park.
No, we'll just keep going.
We'll keep going.
We can finish in the car because people want to see it driving, and then we can talk about it more.
There you go. So I would like this with no frills, nothing added. I think it's really lovely and well appointed. And the only thing I wish is that it wasn't so screen dependent a little bit. A few buttons would be great. There's some things that, as we were getting to know this vehicle, were frustrating initially. Even, by the way, the indicator that I mentioned earlier in the video, as I got more used to it, and because we continued driving for a little bit before we switched, I was indicating without thinking, and I just kind of started hitting a little more harder, whatever, right? And I think it was
You get used to things.
Yeah, you get used to things, and there are a lot of things.
Oh, by the way, the heads-up display, we can't show you again, but it also says school zone, which there's the school.
There's a school. So I feel that the Polestar 3, and who knows, perhaps the 2 as well if I'd driven it, but the Polestar 3 is very much a vehicle that you can probably learn really well, and get used to. The fact that the buttons on the steering wheel don't have any demarcation or indication, anything like that, that's probably something that will become just intuitive and natural, and like an extension of yourself, your body. And I think that's really cool. That's cool.
It's always that balance between, if you loaned your car to a friend, they'd be like, how do I drive this thing? Or, where's this button and that button or whatever? How do I do that? But if you own it, give it 4 or 5 days, and you'll probably won't have any issues with any of that stuff. So.
And I'll out us in that this has, let's say, the Equinox EV might have a 5-minute, how do I do this? Jeez.
Finally.
It might have a 5-minute, getting to know it phase. The Polestar might have the Polestar 3 might have a 20-minute getting to know you phase. When they dropped it off, we were both like, how do we open the doors? How do we start the car? We'll just completely out ourselves. Shout out to Jill, who is an amazing content creator. She's worked with the Girls Guide to Cars as well. Because I totally watched her video and was like, oh, that's how we open it.
Yeah.
The light.
There's also, thank you. There's also, this is the dual motor, of course, with the performance, but I would love to really try the single motor and see how that feels. Of course, it's not going to be powerful or anything, but for a premium driving SUV, that might be a really good solution. And I'm assuming more range. I don't remember the stats. I didn't look at the stats on the other ones.
And if we could get 20,000 off that as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would like that a lot.
It's the thing that really shines with Polestar is that they somewhat have that styling lineage that is connected to Volvo. So it has that performance-y Volvo feel. And if you don't know, their design house is Swedish. So there's a lot of influence that comes from European styling, but it is built in China. And we don't want to get into politics of the tariffs and what might happen, or the speculation, not the politics, because I don't mind getting into politics, but the speculation, who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be a very interesting time. But if you are in the market right now, this is a really nice option with the discounts. Without the discounts, it's a little bit harder to justify.
Well, it's a great option if you have the money. And if the cost of it isn't a concern for you. ultimately we can't tell you how to spend your money. I think,
Oh, go ahead.
I think it's really lovely. This was really lovely. It bugs me that it's so screen dependent, but it's lovely to drive, and that's not because of the power in my case. I mean, it'd be fun to get the seatbelt color anyways, even if you didn't get the power.
And it bugs me that we're in traffic, so we could wrap it up for this video.
We could. So if we have anything else to add, maybe we'll pop something up. But on that note, thank you so very much for joining us for this video in which we spent some time for introducing ourselves to the Polestar 3 and introducing you to it too. So exciting, like we said in the beginning, to finally get to spend some time in it after we met this vehicle and all of its brethren at Polestar Day last year. I'm really psyched about Polestar and what they're doing, and I want to see them keep delivering cool vehicles. And this is a double thumbs up from me. A great vehicle, super fun, and hopefully you get to try it out too. Huge thank you to our patrons whose names are scrolling across the screen right now. We appreciate you guys so very, very much and your support of us and this channel. And you, our YouTube members too. Also, guys, by the way, it's thanks to you for supporting us and for watching and engaging in all this that we're able to do stuff like get this sweet car for 5 days even and not have to try do this stuff in an hour. If you are ever wanting to make car content, go borrow a vehicle for an hour and get started, because that's how we did it. Yep. But we're so grateful to you guys for supporting us and helping make it possible that we could do this even. So do you have anything to add, Patrick?
Nope, I want to try to make this light.
Oh, snap.
We'll
so you're going to make it. You're going to make it. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us for this video. And just remember that whatever you drive, whether it's a Polestar 2, 3, 4, beyond, whatever, enjoy the ride. Bye.